So let's do this very quickly. I'll start it again. So in doing action research, we're going to address some common problems in our math classroom, where our common problems are critical thinking, communication skill, and problem solving. So in what way could we innovate a lesson in such a way that we could solve a math problem in our classroom? Okay, so how can a teacher bring about change in a classroom? So we need to think about the content knowledge, the pedagogical knowledge, the technological knowledge, that is the TPCK, and then what are the attitude, perception of the teacher. And then we should think about sharing community of practice, because most of you have identified that a community could help you on how to improve your practice in your math classroom. Planning collectively to do action research could help us innovate strategies that could improve thinking in our math classroom. So it provides opportunities to share best mathematical practices with one another if we think about how do we change our classroom, how do we improve our math classroom. So in doing this, we need to reflect before you implement your lesson, during implementation, and after. And that is what we call teaching. Classroom action research hold the key. So the bridge between thinking about what you should do in your classroom and put an action on a certain problem in your classroom, the bridge of these two is what we call reflection. That reflection, that process of reflection, is we call that as doing action research in your class. So action research is a natural extension where you observe closely of your students, needs, and you're teaching to fit the needs of all learners. Remember, I should go back to a certain example. Remember, I let you do an exercise in our classroom where you solve this problem. You make a box. Lucy wants to give a personalized gift to her, and you will make a box using a plain sheet of grid paper measuring 10 centimeter by 16 centimeter. Answers to this problem, right? You have noticed that in our discussion before, you have different answer to this problem. So we use those varied answers to teach algebraic expression. So when this is one of the action research shared by UPNISMED, where one of the output of classroom implementation is this one. So one group describe what is the height of the box, and then what are the different measurement of the box. Another group, which I don't anymore show here, they describe the qualitative and quantitative aspects of the box. So action research is you thinking about maybe your problem is how do we improve problem solving skill in my class? And your solution could be, what about if I teach a new math content, I go first with problem. So you pick up the problem, the problem in the book, which is found at the last part of your chapter, and then you put it on your first discussion of certain content. So that's your innovation. Okay? So when you do that, you try to collect data during your implementation. So collected data could be the output of the students. Another one could be uh, what are the different teacher and student interaction. So as you could see on this slide, you have here an example of teacher-student interaction where the teacher give a series of questions and for them to determine if the students could relate the height of the box of a side of a square that serve as flats at the corner of that box. So this is processing the answers of the student. So therefore, one problem could be, what are the varied answers of the students? Another problem could be, what are the teacher-student interaction during class discussion? So as you collect this kind of data, you have to reflect what happened, and then you should ask, what data were my actions successful in improving the situation? Okay, that's number 6. So after you think about, what's my problem in my classroom? Why I'm concerned to solve this problem? What data can I gather to show why I am concerned in solving this problem? What can I do to improve the situation? So the teacher decided that he will use the approach teaching through problem solving, and he collected data on a classroom. So one example could be the student output and what are the teacher-student interaction. And then you have to ask, after collecting the data, were my actions successful in improving the situation? How can I change my ideas and practices in light of what I have learned? Okay? So this is the process of solving a problem, or the process of action research. So you have to identify an issue in a math classroom. You have to make an action or implement, and plan thoroughly on how you implement it so that you'll be successful. And then as you implement that, you have to observe and collect data, and then evaluate what happened. Think about, were my actions successful in improving the situation? Okay? So there are only 5 basic parts of our action research. You have your introduction. What's your problem statement? What literature could support you in your action? How do you collect your data, methods, and then findings and conclusion? So these are the basic parts of our action research. Okay? So I hope that's very clear for everyone on what is action research.